What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Enduring Legacy might just end up being like my favorite gun in the game right now, and it is really disgusting what this weapon is able to do. I am one of those players that basically started out with the Tamer in normal difficulty and used that to carry me through a lot of the content, and so I was looking for a replacement to that because of course the Tamer has some limitations. It doesn't have a good crit rate and that sort of thing. And Enduring Legacy is exactly that. So it's also a machine gun, but basically it addresses all of the, let's call it, issues that the Tamer has that keeps it from being like a super great weapon. Don't get me wrong, the Tamer is dope and it is absolutely meta, especially until you can get something better. But Enduring Legacy is like Tamer on fucking steroids and then some. So the bottom line is, one of the reasons why I like this weapon so much is in this game, there are certain guns which are better for certain descendants and for certain situations. And that's good, and that is helpful in a game like this because you can essentially build out a roster of weapons and a roster of descendants, and then you can, you know, sort of like pick the right tool for the job. However, it is super handy to also just have a Swiss Army knife weapon that does everything and can be used by any descendant. And again, this is where the Enduring Legacy shines. So whether you're using this on what I believe are the two best choices for this gun, meaning Glay or Enzo, because of the inherent, you know, the thing with Glay being able to just, you know, have infinite bullets and juice those bullets up, and in the case of Enzo being able to just ramp your crit through the roof and then just deal a shitload of damage. Those are both two really good fits for the Enduring Legacy. But then again, you can also just literally run around. Like I was using this with Viesa to kill intercept bosses and farm content, no problemo. I was using this with Sharon for like outpost infiltrations and also again, you know, killing void intercept bosses. And this is just a workhorse. It just puts in the work. So of course, when it comes to the actual rolls on the gun, you can see mine is still poo-poo. I have been super unlucky. I got firearm attack and firearm critical hit damage straight off the rip, and I've been really struggling to roll the other two lines out. So bad, so even that I actually ran out of materials and I'm busy researching some more up now. I think I burned close to like maybe 300 or something like that. That being said, you want firearm attack on you want firearm critical hit damage, and then you don't necessarily want Colossus damage. You rather want something like fire attack. I'll say a little bit more about the elements and everything like that, but fire as an element is super important for the Enduring Legacy because there's actually a buff built into the gun when we're going to look at the unique aspect of the weapon just now, and it'll make a bit more sense. And then for your fourth, I would imagine something like a bigger clip will go a longer distance. So I don't think we necessarily need crit rate. I think crit damage is super important, especially if you're running them in Enzo or something like that. However, if you go firearm attack, just fire on the weapon, critical hit damage and critical hit rate, that's perfectly fine. I just like the fact that you can have more rounds on this, so you can roll a bigger clip, and then you basically have more bullets before you essentially, you know, run dry. Because the gun takes a long time to reload if you don't mod for that. So, you know, more bullets means more fun and less downtime. Then let's just quickly look at the unique ability before we carry on. And now my face is kind of like in the way here, so I'm quickly just gonna take myself away here. So you can see here that essentially the weapon has something on it called quenching. All right. And what this says is that on hitting an enemy, it increases the status effect trigger rate corresponding to the element and inflicts a unique ability. Now, in this case, we want to mod it for fire, and then it basically hits quenching, right? Now, on hitting a burnt enemy, because this is why we choose fire, we could choose another element, and that's fine, but you're going to lose out on a lot of the additional juice that this weapon offers. If we hit a burnt enemy, it increases your firearm attack and applies a buff to the attack. And you can see what the quenching buff is. Basically, let me just move my mouse there, and you can see that it has a duration, it has stacks that can go up, and basically then these stacks will reduce the fire resistance of the enemy that you're shooting, and it will also jack up your firearm attack against the enemy that's burning. So fire is absolutely the element that you want to be using with this. So when we then go and look at the actual mods, because I think that's probably where we will be spending most of our time, this is the setup that I ended up going for. And right off the bat, I want to talk about the sharp precision shot versus what I'm sure people will suggest that they should instead be using something like mental focus. Okay, now hear me out. I think both of these are fine. All right. And without going into a whole video's worth of explanation as to which one is better for which boss, which one is better for which situation, the kind of rule of thumb that I have with this mod is, if I am going to be moving around a lot, I want to use sharp precision shot because I can ramp up faster to get the maximum effect. Whereas if I'm going to be standing still, and let's say it's a group fight and other dudes are going to be pulling the aggro and I could just sit and, you know, shoot, or I'm playing Glay or something like that, then I want to be using mental focus. That is pretty much it. I don't make it more complicated for myself than that, and that's it. Now, you could also be using other stuff, like you could use sweeping squad is good as well if you want to, you know, jack up your firearm attack even more. Like if you're using this for mobbing, sweeping squad is sexy, but the bottom line is it has to be one of those three. That's what I would say. Anything else is probably, you know, like I would say subpar and not going to hit the same amount of damage. You'll still be able to, I mean, you could do something like where's the heat incinerator? No, not heat incinerator. There's the fire conductor one. This can also be good, but yeah, sharp precision shot. All the footage that you've been seeing so far is me using sharp precision shot, and this shit fucking works. Like just try it out. That's all I'm saying. Just try it out and see the damage that this pushes out. So then the rest is fairly standard. I mean, guys, we when it comes to weapons in this game, there's like 5 or 6 mods that every gun has on it. So you're going fire rate, you're going action reaction, you're going rifling reinforcement. We're using fire enhancement, and we also want fire on the gun so that we're double dipping essentially on that, you know, fire effect. Then you'll see that this one isn't leveled up all the way, so I have expand weapon charge, which gives me a little bit more rounds per magazine. And the reason why it's not leveled up all the way is because obviously we ran out of module capacity. So the thing is, I could mod this one if I'm always going to use sharp precision shot, and then of course I'd have more than enough to still jack this up. But the point is, because I want this to be my swing cell that I can put in other mods in there if I want to test different things or switch the gun or something like that, that's why we're not doing that. So this is the other reason why I want one of the 4 rolls on the gun to be additional clip, because that combined with this will get us close to 150, 155 bullets, which is also something that we want if we're running this with Glay and we're running mental focus. Then better concentration and better insight is your crit hit and crit damage combo. So of course you want that in there. And then we have concentration priority for just a lot more critical hit damage and a reload time modifier for us there, which is kind of like super important because this gun reloads for like 16 years. And then last but not least, insight focus is here as well for just some more crit hit rate and crit hit damage. Now, when we look at the stats, and I can quickly just again take my face away, you'll notice that now we end up with a firearm critical hit rate of 30%. And we have a firearm critical hit damage of close to 7 times multiplier. And this is why when this gun crits, it hits like a Mack truck. And if you use this on Enzo and you get your crit rate like massively increased, you're really gonna see just how this gun shines. Now you'll notice the weak point damage is super low, and that's because you should not be stacking weak point with this gun, in my opinion. Again, maybe you could build enough weak stuff into the gun to basically make it useful, but in my opinion, that's really just not going to be the case. But that's the Enduring Legacy. You can see I don't have any multiple setups for it or something. I treat weapons the same way that I treat Descendants. Certain weapons are for certain things. So if I'm looking for something that is just generally going to be super decent, but is absolutely going to fuck something that has like no fire resistance or has low fire resistance, then Enduring Legacy is, you know, literally disgusting. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know what you think of the Enduring Legacy. Is it your favorite gun to run? What is your favorite gun? I would say if I would look at the top 5 that I see my friends running and people that I run into, it's usually Thunder Cage, Python, this gun. I do see a lot of Tamers still, and then Nazastras is also starting to really come up though. So I think it is super popular, and rightfully so. It was also, you know, buffed in the most recent patch, well, 2 patches ago. And the developer also mentioned that while they can see at the moment right now that skill-based builds are super powerful, they do also want to shake the meta up every season. And so that to me means that most likely they're going to make some changes for the next season that is going to maybe just nerf, I don't like to use that word before we know what, I don't want to, you know, spread rumors or anything, but basically just maybe adjust the skill-based builds a little bit down and bring the gun-based builds a little bit forward. And in that case, you're gonna need a sick fucking weapon, and this thing is it. So good luck hunting down all the parts and everything like that. Getting a 4 out of 4 with this is not that difficult. It took me about 2, maybe 3 days worth of farming, so it's not that bad. But go on and get it. It's super powerful right now and super satisfying to use. Other than that, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Till next video, fucking cheers.